Next week is Gamescom, so most of us will be flying out to Germany. Sorry, Chris, you won't be.
Yeah, it makes a change, doesn't it? I'll just hold the fort down here on my bloody own.
Well, you're good at doing it, and that's why I know that everything will be perfect by the time we come back.
Of course it will.
But while we're away, we're going to see some very exciting games. So we thought, ahead of Gamescom itself, we'd talk about the highlights that we're most looking forward to. So, Luke, your very first Gamescom.
It is my very first Gamescom, yeah.
So, the first thing you need to know is you will be shocked by the number of people that are there.
So, unlike E3, for those who don't know, so it's consumer focused as well. So, there's the consumer.
So the first day is trade. So it'll be
and that's
quite
the Wednesday.
Quiet, and then, oh, this is very pleasant. And then they open the doors, and it will be nuts.
Bedlam.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm actually seeing Bedlam on the second day. So.
There you go.
Hey. What, 10 a.m. and the doors open?
Yeah.
So what are you most looking forward to?
Ooh. So stuff that I know I'll see. So I am seeing Mortal Kombat. Lovely Daniel has let me see that. So I'm excited to see that because I haven't actually had a chance to play it yet.
So you didn't see it at E3?
No. Okay. I didn't get a chance to go around Warner's booth.
So pray tell, why are you so excited about it?
I'm excited because they're definitely going to announce a new character, or maybe several new characters. But it's a big shift in terms of the way the game works and the fact that there's 3 different characters. Because usually, for me, I've said this before, but I like it for the story. So I like just playing through the story mode. If there's one character that I can't use, maybe a different style I will be able to use. But also just the character reveals what that means in terms of the storyline, because certain characters have been absent from past versions that may be brought back. I'm just really looking forward to it. It looks beautiful. I'm looking forward to kind of talking to some developers behind it and see how they came up with some ideas.
Yeah.
So that's stuff that I know I'm going to see.
Yeah.
That I'm excited about. I don't know. On the whole, in terms of other things, I'm kind of disillusioned with the console games for a little bit because they keep delaying them.
But you're disillusioned with the delays rather than... I say, we're only, 9 months into a new generation.
But you know... I can already name games that I want that are definitely not going to be out for a year.
Yeah.
I'm actually struggling to name games that I want that will be out within 6 months. And
Evolve slipped to next year.
Evolve slipped as well.
Sometimes.
Destiny I'm looking forward to, but there's just not that much. And I think anything that gets announced now is going to suffer from a hype trail that's perhaps a little bit too long.
But you look at Far Cry, that was announced, in April, May? Yeah. And that's coming out this year. So that's really short.
It's true.
Until it gets delayed.
There
could be some good things. And then the only other thing, like blue sky thinking, I'd quite like to see an update on Final Fantasy 15 or Kingdom Hearts 3, because both of them were missing.
Surely they'll save those for Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, I think what's going to happen is we're probably going to have news about Final Fantasy 14 expansion, and that's going to be their Final Fantasy fix. And then I'd also quite like to see if Guild Wars 2, because I recently got back into that in quite a big way, if they've got any expansions coming. So that's everything I'd like to see.
There you go.
Really.
So you've been the man at the centre of it all, organising appointments for everyone.
Yeah, I've been knee deep in the spreadsheet. I've got really good at Excel.
Good.
Honestly, conditional formatting.
That is sexy.
It's magic. He just automatically changes colour depending on what you put in the box. It's good. Getting aroused, Chris. I've given myself some good appointments. That's how I've been rolling.
The best games for you.
No,
I'm doing this, so
this
I
was really good actually doing the schedule. Is something you would consider a good appointment, somebody else might not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want some of these appointments.
Yeah.
I'm glad Luke does. No, but he loves stuff that I don't like.
So
that's why we have a variety of different.
What are you most looking forward to doing?
I've got a 1 hour behind closed doors presentation of Bloodborne.
Oh, wow.
An hour focusing on the combat.
Okay.
Which sounds pretty cool to me. I'm really excited about that because we got to see a very brief glimpse of Bloodborne, probably like 10 minutes.
And it was really early.
Yeah, really early. Unrepresentative because the difficulty wasn't on, so they were just walking around at leisure, showing you different mechanics, but not actually going into much detail because the people demoing it weren't from Software.
Yeah.
So they were giving you very vague answers. They weren't allowed to give you any more insight to the story. So this is an hour presentation on the combat in particular. So
from
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I assume, or at least people who can speak on their behalf.
Yeah.
And it's going to dive deep into probably a bit more of the story, how it differs from other previous Souls games. And I just thought that game looked awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a recent convert to those kind of games, but obviously this one ticks a lot more of my interest boxes, like the setting, high Gothic, Victorian stuff, a lot of Lovecraft stuff in it.
Yeah.
And I thought what we saw from brief glimpse, it looked really cool.
Yeah, but it didn't, as you say, it didn't really answer many questions.
We got an impression, but not much of an idea of how it'll actually be.
Yeah.
It looks a lot like Dark Souls, but obviously I want to see like how far that comparison and similarity stems.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. And I'm also seeing No Man's Sky. And I'm looking forward to working out what that game actually is.
So that's one thing for me. It's like, as a technical achievement, it's amazing.
Mind-boggling.
I still don't
So
get it.
I've heard little nuggets of what it's about in the run-up. Like in the last few months, there's been details leaking out. And everyone start on the edge of the universe. Yeah. And you've got to work your way into the central planet. Yeah. Because there's some mystery about what's on the center of the universe or your center of your galaxy. So you've got to get there by planet hopping and upgrading your ship to get closer and closer to this thing, which is your destiny. So maybe they'll tell us more about what the actual game's, the structure of the game is.
It's brilliant. It's really interesting. But what's the game there?
Well, that's because... So I sat through quite a long presentation with Sean Murray from Hello Games 83, and he was saying... So he didn't say that the goal was to get to the centre of the universe or the galaxy or whatever at that point. But he did say you've got to go and achieve something, and to do that you've got to upgrade your suit, you've got to upgrade your...
So there's got to be some impetus there, otherwise you just
wander around
and go, actually I'm done with this.
Kill
this
some
is a nice
dinosaurs.
planet. You've got to be something pushing you forward.
But in terms of upgrading, how you do that is up to you. So you can do it by mining valuable ores, or you can go by being a pirate and shooting people. So how you get that resource to upgrade is the variable, I guess. But I still, like, how does it all pull together? I don't know. So I think that's going to be kind of interesting.
Yeah. So unannounced games as well.
Yeah.
I think you want to talk about a bit more, aren't you?
Well, we know that there are going to be some unannounced games.
There are known unknowns, and then there are unknown unknowns.
That's right. Well, I think the problem with Gamescom is it is relatively close to E3. And a lot of developers spend so much time getting their games ready for E3 that there's very little time to actually do anything with that code.
I think it's very different
between
this year.
Yeah.
I think the scale and the scope of the show, and it's standing within the kind of calendar window, like the calendar, has really grown. And they're now using this as a platform to make real meaty announcements. Yeah. Like, there are unannounced games coming from major publishers at the show. We know that. We don't know what they are. We maybe know a couple. We knew that Rogue was one of them. But that leaked. But even stuff that we kind of know, like Quantum Break, is going to be properly revealed at Gamescom. In the trailer that they released in May, the head of Remedy Games said Gamescom is going to be our event. And it's a really big stage, and you get a lot. What we say about E3, you get lost in the kind of the din. Of all those announcements. I think you could own it.
Like, Gamescom is getting a bit bigger, and also the big thing that I kind of feel as... I mean, obviously we're a games media website, but then you look at like the increased success of YouTubers and things. Because it is a consumer show, I think publishers do feel there's much more. They have much more ability to control the message, get kind of consumers hands on with a really refined bit of code, send them home and send them tweeting, Facebooking it, just saying how good it is, and word of mouth. So I actually think they are viewing it, like publishers are viewing it as much more as an opportunity, as opposed to E3 where we can see through stuff like that quite easily. But I think that's not to say they're trying to deceive anyone, but it's just kind of a more refined message. Yeah,
because I'm seeing Dead Island 2, which I saw at E3, but the code I saw at E3 was already like 9 months old, and so they sat me through like probably a 25-minute demo of the game, which focused purely on combat. And it looked ropey. And then right at the end they said, but this is what the game is going to look like, and played 30 seconds of video. And I was like, well, why didn't you just show the game running like that? Because that looks good. So that's what we're going to see at Gamescom.
And it's the same, I'm seeing Blizzard, right? And Blizzard didn't really have a presence at E3, and Blizzard traditionally don't do anything outside of BlizzCon, really, but they themselves are making the decision to come to Gamescom, which is a huge shout for them.
Well, they always have a big presence in the consumer area because it's just really big, and they always have like loads of like pods and people playing. Like I suppose
they have BlizzCon.
Hearthstone had a huge presence last year.
They have BlizzCon for the American audience. I suppose this is a chance for them to reach their European kind of fan base. But I just think that again, the fact that we are having kind of press stuff as well is quite telling. It's definitely not what it used to be.
Yeah, but I think for me, the chance to see more Metal Gear is always exciting. Phantom Pain, again, saw a very long demo for that E3. Interested to see what else they show on that without kind of too many spoilers. And then Batman, which I haven't actually seen yet. Well, I've seen it in videos, but I've not actually seen it running.
Is it hands-on?
Yeah, I believe so.
I wouldn't mind
is
having
exciting.
a glimpse at where the Order 1886 is now. So obviously it got delayed. I went to an event, I think in January, when, Colin Moriarty wrote up a piece saying, it looked a bit ropey, and it did look like it had technical issues, taking it back a bit. And so I'd be interested to see where that is, because that was one of the, powerhouse PlayStation exclusives that they were trumpeting, and now they've gone a bit quiet. So I think that could be interesting.
Chris, what are you looking forward to? Just an empty office?
Yeah, just a break from you lot.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to recording a podcast on my own here, where I just sit here, just stream of consciousness, just saying whatever comes in my head, eating a few donuts.
Nice.
Well,
the good thing is we're live streaming from Germany, so you can watch all of our pretty faces.
I'm busy.
Are you?
I've got to get my head down and write some nice features.
Oh. Well, if you get lonely,
Yeah.
pop on the live stream.
Okay.
And we'll be on there.
Will you say, if I ask you to say a little code word, will you say it?
It depends what it is.
Sausages.
If there is a way of getting sausages in, I will try and say sausages.
I know it's for me. And everyone out there will know it's for me.
I'm going to see Sausage Simulator, so...
Exactly.
Easy,
We're in
easy,
Germany, right?
easy.
So there's probably quite an easy way.
All the brat first, you can...
For better or worse. Whatever. Anyway,
Quite good.
so that's it, Gamescom will be all over IGN next week, so keep your eyes peeled for that.